and now he's not there. Easter happens where death is because that's exactly the place where it's needed. The whole purpose of our Lenten journey this year was to get everybody to come to this place where they are totally 100%, no questions asked, bought into this statement that's on your screen. I believe. I believe. And when the text that was read this morning out of the John text, nothing happens by accident in John's text. If there's a word in John, it's supposed to be there. And he does every word that he does for this reason. This is John 20:30. Now Jesus did many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in the book. But these things are written so that you may come to believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and through him, and through believing, that you may have life in his name. Eternal life is in the name of Christ. You believe it. Once you have accepted that, believed that, put that into your heart, now the world becomes a different place. Transformation can occur. Things are a whole lot different. We get into the story this morning. We think about the whole Lenten series and the things that we've asked you to give up and the fasting that we've done. And from the very beginning to giving up control to the very end to where we are now, we're going to give up our attitudes and thoughts about death. And I'm going to ask you to stretch your mind a little bit this morning when it comes to the resurrection and what you believe about the resurrection and how you think the resurrection works and whether you're waiting for that to happen at some point in time or whether you're doing what we asked a little bit ago about living into the resurrection every day. And I'm hoping it was the latter, that every day is somehow a new life for you because of the Easter event. So in John's Gospel, and we'll look at these in several different ways, but in John's Gospel, we have the story of Mary and she, as being the first one that goes there. It's an exciting story. It talks about Mary walking in the dawn, and I thought about this morning as I walked to church this morning. Believe it or not, it was in the pre-dawn time. And when I got here this morning, the phone rang and I answered it, and the first thing the guy said was, "What are you doing there?" Well, since you're there, I didn't expect to talk to a human. What time's your service this morning? So I thought that it worked out pretty good. But I mean, in the pre-dawn time, you can think about a lot of things. There's nobody around. There's not much happening. There's not a lot of activity to focus on. You can set your mind on what you're doing and stay with it. It doesn't have a whole lot of time to wander. So you know what's going on with Mary as she's walking. Mary Magdalene. Mary Magdalene had a story to tell. Jesus had exorcised 7 demons from her. She had been one of the people that had followed him. And the Bible tells us that she was a person of means because she helped support them. So she's got a story. And that what she thought was going, you plan on how your life may play out. And then all of a sudden this happens, and Friday happens, and everybody knows what death looks like. And she knows that when Jesus went into the tomb, he was dead. He was dead. And so she's walking down, and her eyes probably full of a night of crying, and weeping, of sadness and sorrow, and heaving deep sighs. And she's probably not only is she not feeling too good, she probably looks a wreck from the way that she's experienced the last few hours. We know what we felt like when we went home Friday night. It was not a good feeling. We left Jesus on the cross. Okay? But the joy of Easter is coming, and we know that, and we have the privilege of doing this. The first century Christians that were there, to get to the point where they could say that they believed, think about what it took for them to do that. Even being part of that religion was against the law. No books, no hymnals, no nothing to choose from. And catechism was probably 2 to 3 years before you could actually know. You had to memorize huge chunks of scripture, stories. Took a while. And then you come to this point where you say that you believe. And Mary has been part of this whole movement, and she's been part of the way, the things that's going on right there, she gets there. And in John's Gospel, now it starts to get exciting because the stone is rolled away. And now she doesn't do anything other than go back and get the disciples. And so we have this story about Mary going back and getting Peter and the beloved disciple, and the race that takes place there to get back to where he is, and the beloved outruns Peter and gets there but doesn't go in. Then Peter gets there and goes in and takes a look, and then the beloved goes in, and the first thing we're told about him is he saw, he believed. We know about Mary because she's not sure yet about what's going on. And Peter, we don't know about him either. Now Mary will find out in a little bit because she'll fall out at the feet of the Lord and she'll acknowledge him. But the point is that if we take this right here, this story that we have, it's a resurrection story. Do we have any more resurrection story? You know, every year we read out of a different gospel. We read Matthew, and when Matthew's telling, there's things that are similar, but there's things that are different. There's an earthquake, and that's what moves the stone away, and bodies come out of the ground, and we're told about Pilate and getting guards to stay on top of to stand guard at the tomb. And we're also saying about, you're making up this lie that the disciples stole it. We don't get that. And then we get a different story in Luke, and we get a different story in Mark. And when Paul tells the story in some of the Gospels, it's even different from there. In the first century writers, a little bit different from there. The resurrection stories are made to tell you something from a certain theological position so that you will come to believe. Paul's Gospel talks about the things that he has in common with the other Gospels there, that it's early on the first day of the week. Mary Magdalene's at the tomb. She's mentioned in all 4 Gospels. The stone's removed from the tomb. The tomb's empty. Peter's at the tomb. Peter sees the linen wrappings. All these things they have in common. And here's some things they don't have in common. In John's Gospel, on the other hand, he's got the prominence of the disciple, the beloved disciple, the one that Jesus loved, and his association with Peter, and the perceptiveness of him, the way that he looks in and believes. And the lack of the understanding on the disciples' part about Jesus' resurrection. And it's said to the prophet. You see that it's a little bit different. John and each of the writers writes to get you to believe, to come to an understanding based on your own walk in the world. And this is going to become very important when we go to another point. Because we're going to mention Paul. And Paul is going to have a different perspective, and you've seen it in the very beginning from the words that he wrote. Paul comes at it from a different perspective. For him, the resurrection is the only reason to pick up paper and pen. He didn't have a pen. He didn't have paper. Pick up papyrus and a quill. That's the only reason to do it, is because of the resurrection. It is central to his teaching. It is central to everything he writes, to every church that he had founded. To Thessalonica, to Ephesus, to Colossians, to the Ephesians. In 2:6 says the same thing in each one. That the resurrection is the event. Without the resurrection, he sums it up best in 1 Corinthians 15, and he says it just like this. Now Christ is proclaimed as raised from the dead. How can some of you say there's no resurrection of the dead? If there's no resurrection of the dead, then Christ has not been raised. And if Christ has not been raised, then our proclamation has been in vain, and your faith is in vain. We are even found to be misrepresenting God, because we testified of God that he raised Christ, whom he did not raise, if it's true that the dead were not raised. For if the dead are not raised, and Christ has not been raised, and if Christ has not been raised, your faith is futile, and you are still in your sin. Then those who have died in Christ have perished, and if for this life only we have hope in Christ, we are a people most all to be pitied. That's a pretty massive statement, isn't it? without the resurrection. There's no reason for us to preach. There's no reason for us to sing. There's no reason for you to gather here. There's no reason for the church. And missions mean nothing. You may as well just go live your life some other way. You see what it is? It's the central theme of why we are. We celebrate the birth. At Christmas time, we celebrate the Advent. We talk about discipleship and all that. But today is the day that defines everything else that we will do. And it's most important. Paul writes very heavy stuff at times. He talks about the idea that in Colossians text that was read this morning, something that's very important, and he wants you to understand it as well as the people that he wrote to, the people that had to hear it, have it read to them, the people that didn't have a book. So it's not if. In the King James Version, it reads this way: since you have been raised with Christ, seek the things that are above where Christ is seated. Ponder on that for just a second. Think about that for just a minute. You've been raised with Christ. You have already been resurrected. When Christ died, your faith union put you in union, and the power of his resurrection raised you. You are no longer dead, you're alive. You were dead, but now you're alive. You're like the prodigal son that went away, and now that you've returned, what was dead is now alive through the power of the resurrection. Paul writes, you have been raised with Christ, and he says it in every book, gospel that he writes. Think about that. Think about what that means for your living today. If you have been raised with Christ, which he says you have, then you are with Christ, in Christ at all times. And so that you now have the power of the Holy Spirit to live your life accordingly. Because he's going to tell them whatsoever is pure, pleasing, acceptable, true, honest, just. Set your mind on these things. And we could not do that on the power of our own. We could not do that within ourselves. We can't do that. But through the power of the Holy Spirit and the resurrected life, this is where we're at. This is what we do. We're already in his mind, in Paul's mind, you're already in heaven. If you're waiting for the resurrection at the end of your life, that's good. You'll get to that. But you're already living in the kingdom of God right here and now, and since Christ is everywhere, and Christ is in heaven with God, and you are in Christ with Christ, guess where you're at? You're right with him. Dying doesn't change any of that. Sin changes that. We're all going to die. And that doesn't have anything to say about where you're going to spend eternity. Death doesn't determine where you're going to spend eternity. Your life does. Your ethical and moral compass that is based upon the fact that we believe in the resurrection, the empty cross, the empty tomb. Does that change anything about the way you feel about the resurrection? The fact that he's not there. He's gone to prepare a place for you that where he is, you will also be. He tells the thief on the cross, today you'll be with me in paradise. And that haunting song that the choir sang so beautifully on Thursday night now has a different meaning. I wonder how that's all possible. It's because the power of the resurrection takes him with you. Think about it. And because of that moment, because of that instant in time, because of the resurrection that occurred, we are empowered to live our life ethically, morally, spiritually different. Because we're already by our faith union with Christ, we're already there. That doesn't ever change. You want to know what heaven looks like? Look around. These are the people you're going to be with. And the way that we treat them, the way that we engage them, the way that we talk about them, the way that we react with them, the way that we speak to them, it matters. It matters now, it matters then. Can you imagine changing your attitude simply because you died and now we find ourselves in heaven all together? Does it? You see the point? I think you just hit home. I think it just hit home, and it should. Anybody remember the song four-way, just a four-way therapy stranger. Anybody know that one? Yeah. When was it written? 200 years ago. It's they don't know, it's an Appalachian spiritual, or it could have been an old Negro spiritual. It was around the 19th century. But there was a person, and the only reason I'm going to show this is because I want you to listen to the words, but it happens to come with a video. I may get in trouble with this, but I'm going to show it anyway. Go ahead. Yeah, I mean, you're on a motorcycle, it doesn't get you better. The movie series only lasted 2 years. It was called Then Came Bronson, and it showed from 1967 to 1969. I never watched any moment of it other than the opening song. I don't think I was allowed to. Faith Union Living. This home that you're living in now is not your home. You're in heaven. That's where you expected to be. In some way or form or shape, we need to get our minds wrapped around that idea that we are just temporary people on this planet, that we are eternal beings. We are spiritual beings in a body that have an eternal home, and through our union with Christ, we are already there. Yes, it will be reached in the fullness of time at the end when Christ returns and gathers his church, and all of a sudden that we